The latest decision by the U.S. Fed widens the rate gap between South Korea and the U.S. to the biggest ever. Amid mounting pressures on the exchange rate and potential capital outflow, the Bank of Korea will be making its own decision later this month. Our Lee Soo-jin has the prospects.
South Korea's interest rate gap with the United States is at its widest ever. The U.S. Federal Reserve on Wednesday voted to increase interest rates by 25 basis points, its 10th straight rate hike. This has widened the interest rate gap between the two nations to 1.75 percentage points. A significantly wide interest rate gap increases the risk of capital outflow to overseas markets as investors seek higher investment returns. The Bank of Korea Governor Rhee Chang-yong, however, has emphasized numerous times before that the BOK will not hike interest rates simply because of the widening gap between the two nations. According to the Bank of Korea, the country's foreign exchange reserves in April were up $610 million from the previous month. This marks the second consecutive expansion of foreign reserves. The BOK said that the rise was largely driven by the boosted value of non-dollar assets when converted into the greenback as the value of the US dollar fell. The Consumer Price Index also slowed its rate of increase to the 3% range last month, the first time it has been lower than 4% since February last year. The won, however, has been losing ground against the greenback despite the weak dollar as the domestic economy struggles with sluggish chip exports and 14 straight months of trade deficits. If the widening interest rate gap causes the won to decline further against the dollar, prices of imported goods may surge, leaving the Bank of Korea with no choice but to consider a rate hike. The exchange rate and the capital outflow during the 3 weeks leading up to the monetary policy meeting are thus expected to heavily influence the central bank's rate decision. If the BOK decides to keep its benchmark interest rate unchanged at the upcoming meeting, it will be its third consecutive rate freeze. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.